unfortunately had a bunch of guys get nicked up on the defensive line already. Now we're talking about Bilal possibly coming back. Like, as a guy who's been in the room the whole time and is one of the leaders, like, how do you kind of manage through that when guys are kind of coming in and out and you're having to deal with some losses?
I mean, that's part of the game. You know, it's the worst part of the game, but I mean, it's 100% injury rate. You know, just how bad you get hurt is kind of the part that is up in the air. But you know, everybody's dealing with something. Some stuff you can play through, some stuff you can't. You know, and time will tell. But you know, getting the potential of Bilal back, that's gonna be huge. You know, he worked really hard to get back. You know, just this whole offseason, you know, or the whole time I've been here, just seeing his work. You know, seeing the way he pushes himself. You know, knowing his history in this league and what he's done, you know, he's a guy that I want my foxhole, and I'm excited to have him back.
Do you ever start to envision, because with Walter still being in the pen potentially to come back at some point, what this room, when it is fully healthy, can look like?
Yeah, you know, we got a lot of talent, you know, that's for sure. You know, just got to get everybody on the field together at the same time. But you know, we just keep doing our part until everybody's back. You know, I know Walter is a very talented guy, you know, and he's making his progress. And when the time comes, I think the whole world's going to be excited to see what he can do, including me.
You guys have lost by a combined 4 points the last 2 games. What's the messaging coming off 2 tough losses like that?
Well, I say it like this: the mistakes that we made, you know, and the plays that you know that we kind of hurt ourselves on. For us to still be able to be in the ball game at the end of it, you know, it says a lot about what we could be if we do it right, you know. We just got to get to that point where we're consistently playing just good ball, you know, just good team ball, and let the rest take care of itself. But, you know, it's a good sign that we're still in ball games, you know, even when we make the mistakes that we made.
Gigi was saying on Friday that he had talked to you guys about taking the mini bye or whatever you want to call it to kind of reset. Is there something to reset at this point? Is it good to have a couple extra days here?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think you could consider it a mini bye because the way my body feels, I don't feel like a bye week. But, you know, mentally though, you know, I think on bye week you kind of like look back, you know, kind of assess like what worked, what didn't. How can you be better? And I feel like this is a good time, you know, after, you know, essentially a quarter of the season. You know, you could kind of like reevaluate, you know, go back and watch the games again. You had the time, you know, and I'm you know, not everybody's going to do that, you know, but, you know, a guy like myself, you know, go back and watch, you know, what worked, what didn't, you know, what can I improve on, you know, like whatever, what can I work on to continue to help this team win ball games, you know, put ourselves in position to win ball games.
Getting ready to host a winless team, does that take more mental strength for a team throughout the week or on game day to not fall into a mental trap?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, in the NFL, every game is a tough ball game, right? You got some games you definitely win, but, you know, you never know what those games are until you get out there, and that's when the ball just bounces your way, you know. Those tip turnovers right in your hands, you know, easy touchdowns. I mean, and even then, it still might go down to, you know, the very last play of the game. So, you know, this is going to be a tough matchup. I mean, when I see a team that's, you know, winless this early in the season, you know, to me it just says that they're hungry. You know, they're going to come out, you know, with a lot of energy and, you know, a mindset that they're trying to get that first win. And so we're going to have our hands full because they have all kinds of talent all over the place. You know, I mean, one of the best D linemen in the game, and Jeffrey Simmons. You know, just a guy that I admire when I watch football, when I watch D-line play. I mean, he does it the right way. And, I mean, they got talent all over the place, you know. I mean, I think that, you know, they could have, they've been in, you know, they've been competitive in every ball game, you know. Just, it's definitely a team that we have to make sure we bring our A game and make sure we handle.
Why is Michael Carter wearing that number 40 Pat Tillman jersey being named Player of the Week? Just how cool is it just to see where he started, you know, at the beginning of the season, going to practice squad, and now getting signed to the active roster?
Yeah, well, the Pat Tillman, you know, Scout Team Player of the Week is a really cool thing. That didn't exist when I was here the first time. That's new for me. But I think it's a really cool thing that we're doing now with that. First of all, it just helps kind of continue the legacy of who Pat Tillman was, what he stood for. And I think that's important, and inside the building, there's that his locker that's, that's kind of in glass. You walk by all the time, and that's cool too. I remember that being put there, and that was a big deal. But just his legacy is a legacy we should never forget. Young guys should learn about. So I think this is a cool way to go about teaching guys about who he was and what he represents. And then for Mike, he's just a competitor. I always give him a hard time because he went to the University of North Carolina and had amazing games against my Hurricanes when he was there. And so I tease him a lot because, I told him I didn't like him until I met him, Now I like him a lot. But I know he's eager for his opportunities to get his touches and have a chance. He was active, last week and, played a lot of special teams and stuff. And I think that he's a guy that, is just going to continue to get better and work hard and try to put himself in position to, get a consistent role.
Is there excitement then when you get to go up against a Miami Hurricane and Cam Ward then this weekend? And what have you learned also about throughout your experience when it comes to playing against rookie quarterbacks?
Yeah, I'm a big fan of Cam Ward. I rooted for him harder than probably anybody rooted for him last year, other than probably his mom. He is, a very talented quarterback, incredible arm strength. The way he can throw the ball from multiple arm angles, throw it across his body and put it around the money, throw it across the field, what you're not supposed to do, but it just, when he does it, it still works out, pretty consistently. It's just like, this guy's, tremendous talent. But like most rookie quarterbacks, you just got to go through his growing pains, and he's been getting better every week. You see his potential. I know, last week I watched the game yesterday, and you can see a lot of, he's close. He's real close to make a lot of plays, and so, it'd be nice for him to wait one more week before he gets it together, But I am a fan of his, and I want to see him have a great career in this league, and really just be a dominant player. But I'm also looking forward to the opportunity to play against him. I think the greatest sign of respect is to give your best. And so every time I got a chance to play against guys who I consider Hall of Famers or just guys I had a lot of respect for, I always got my best effort. Brett Favre, I never forget. I got fined for sacking Brett Favre, but in my mind, I watched him win the Super Bowl when I was 10, and I had to give him everything I had. So, yeah, this is part of it.
Because you've been around for a bit, you were on this team when you played Cam Newton in his first NFL game, when Russell Wilson as a defender, do you ever get in your head there's a rookie over there, or do you try hard not to, or is it hard not to kind of have it in the back of your head even if you tell yourself that's
No, I definitely think about there's a lot quarterbacks who are just younger, right? Rookie, second year, guys who just don't have a lot of experience. How can I use that to my advantage? What can we do to try to make it harder on them? Just personally, hands up and throwing lanes to try to, make him comfortable, try to, just get in front of him where he has to get off the spot. Now he's a guy who's, crazy athletic, so is Cam, so is Russell. Those guys are, just spectacular athletes. And so, you kind of want to keep him on the spot, won't get him too far off the spot, but just get in front of his face, just do little things to try to, that they probably haven't seen as much of, coming from, when they're in college, you're dominating versus when you get to the NFL, and it's a lot more equal talent. So
4 games is sort of the benchmark. Overall, this Cardinals defense, where would you like to see it improve?
Tackling is probably, after the last couple of weeks, I think we can tackle better, and that's something that the coaches put a big emphasis on. And then just being assignment sound, trusting your teammates. I think, most of our explosives come up, just different guys taking turns, trying to do too much. And, I think it's just settle down, understand that we have all the pieces in place. Just do your part, do your 111, and let the rest take care of itself. And then I think just, getting our ball, hands on more turnovers, getting our hands on the ball more often, and I'm still sick of myself because there's a couple opportunities where I could have probably forced a fumble and I just wasn't even thinking about it. It didn't cross my mind until afterwards. It's just like, we work the drills too much. It has to carry over to the field. You have to, keep that focus and be able to, bring the stuff that you work in practice over into the game. And so it's a big point of emphasis going forward. But I think that this defense has a chance to be really, really good. I know points per game we're up there. But I think that especially like with me up front, like the run game matters, and I feel like there were a lot of good plays in the run game against Seattle. But then you had, quite a few runs that just like really hurt us, and you like look up and say they have 150 yards rushing. Like you're not gonna win a ball game in the NFL give up 150. It's just, not too often. I mean, you got a few chances, but it's rare, and so we have to be better, and and I know we will be. We have to just focus on every play is crucial. You do a good job for 4 plays. That 5th play is just as important as the first one. Can't relax.
Have you ever played in this many unique defensive fronts or setups or looks in your career?
This defense is unique. I feel like, Coach Rollins is a very cerebral guy who loves the game of football and tries to, really put us in position to make our job as easy as possible, which I appreciate. Yeah, I mean, if it's easier, we're going to make more plays. And so, he tries to do a good job of giving us one-on-one matchups, kind of avoiding double teams and stuff like that, which, I think allows for us to be more successful generally. And so, it's nice. You don't get that as much. So, and who knows, if we do well enough with it, it could be a trend going forward. But, we have to go out there and perform. Can't give up 150. That's just, it's a bad taste in my mouth. And it's going to be there until we can get back on this field and redeem ourselves.